Hi, I'm Adam White. In this video, I'm going to share all of my secrets and tips on how you can use simple woodworking tools to make a beautiful, smooth tabletop out of off-the-shelf lumber. So check it out.
Here's the table base that I built in the last video, and you can check those plans out. To build a tabletop, I cut my boards about the length that I want for the tabletop, and then I just lay them out, alternating grains, bark side up, bark side down. I do this because if the boards each individually cup, you don't want them all cupping in the same direction. Then I just draw a triangular shaped pattern on the back, and I start marking out my pocket holes. All but the end board will need pocket holes along one edge, about 6 to 8 inches apart. And then I just drill my pocket holes. My pocket hole jig is set on the 3/4 inch setting, and I'm drilling pocket holes every 6 to 8 inches. I glue all of my joints, and then just matching pattern, I just place the boards together, and then I clamp every single joint, and then I just attach with 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. And then I just clamp the next joint and screw it together. And then I just repeat the process. You can see how drawing the triangle on the back really helps me to stay lined up, because there's only one way that the tabletop boards can go. Just more glue and screws to complete the tabletop. And here it is, all done. You can see the ends are a little bit rough there. I did that on purpose. What I'm going to do is first square up one end of the tabletop. I used a square to make sure I put my straight edge on square, and then just use a circular saw, and then just cut all of the boards. When you cut all at once, you'll get a nice square edge. So now for the other side. Now I measure the saw foot distance from the saw blade to the outside of the saw foot, and I subtract that distance from my overall measurement. So I want 60 inches, so I'm marking at 55. And I clamp my square edge, and I just cut. The reason that I like to cut at the end instead of cutting the individual boards is because it gives me a nice, smooth, square edge. Now that square edge is good enough on its own, but I like to do a breadboard edge. So I just marked for pocket holes and drilled them, and then applied glue to the one edge of the breadboard end. I'm using a 1x2 for the breadboard end. It's more a trim than anything. I really like using a smaller trim piece here rather than a larger piece, just because in my experience, the bigger your piece is, the more likely it's going to warp and the more leverage on that joint. So I like to use smaller breadboard ends. And of course I clamp all of those joints as well. And then attach with 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. Then I just repeat those same steps on the other side. Now to flip it over and see what it looks like. Oh, that's so beautiful. And it's actually reclaimed wood, so to get that nice of a tabletop with reclaimed wood and just a drill and a Craig jig and a clamp, it's pretty amazing. I was really happy with it. So I set it down on a couple of stickers on the garage floor, and I'm going to put the table base on. I drilled pocket holes facing upward in the aprons of the table base, so I can just attach directly through the aprons into the tabletop. I like to do my tabletops this way. There's other ways where you can actually float your tabletop and it's not directly connected to your base. The way that I do it is I build my base stronger than my tabletop, so the base always keeps the tabletop from warping. If your tabletop is stronger than your base, say you use like 2x material for your tabletop, and then you use really small legs and a really small apron system, that tabletop warps. It's going to pull your legs up and your table won't sit flat. So what I do is my base is always stronger, my aprons are bigger than my tabletop, and then I can just attach it directly to the tabletop. Now it's time to flip it over. So right about here, I could tell there was a problem. I could just tell the table was a little bit too delicate, and that I couldn't just tip it over. The legs, felt like they were just gonna fall off. So I knew something was wrong, and I had a feeling it had to do with the aprons being open on the end for a drawer. See, there's no wobble when you go the lengthwise because of the solid aprons. So I decided there was quite a wobble. So how to fix it? That's not acceptable. What I ended up doing was just extending the aprons on the ends, making the drawer smaller. And I had to go back and drill a bunch of pocket holes in the frame to attach those aprons. I wanted to screw from multiple directions because this board, you know, it's got to tighten up the whole table, so it's very important to do it right. And then I drilled some pocket holes on the ends of the smaller apron pieces, and those will go into the legs. And then I just attached everything with 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. Alright, let's see if it actually works. No wobble. I can live with that. Yeah, that works for me. And there's the finished tabletop. Isn't it beautiful? It's so smooth. And there's the finished table. I'll be showing you in the next video how to make the drawers on the end and share with you the finish that I use. So stay tuned for that.
Well, thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed these videos and that your new table is on the way. So have fun building. Make sure you take a second to subscribe. I sure appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.